Hi guys, welcome to Milanya's kitchen. My name is Milanya Isa and today we are going to be making vegan mac and cheese. I'm super excited to share this recipe with you because my family absolutely love it and my kids will go crazy for this dish. So if you're vegan or you're trying to reduce your dairy intake or simply trying to fit in more veggies in your kids' diet, you will love this recipe. So let's go over the ingredients. So I'm using elbow pasta, kabocha, squash, they call it Japanese squash as well. And if you don't have kabocha, I use this recipe with a butternut squash, works very well as well. I always do it either or. 4 cloves of garlic, 5 shallots, teaspoon of paprika, teaspoon of pepper, white or black, turmeric, and that's a key ingredient as well, nutritional yeast. This adds so much flavor and that's a great substitution for cheese. Alright, you're also gonna need some oil and some water to steam this. So the first thing I'm gonna do, I have here my water ready, so I'm gonna to boil the pasta. So I'm just gonna start with this because this is gonna take some time to boil. So you add plenty of water for your pasta. And while we're starting on this, I'm going to start on my kabocha. So what I'm gonna cut it. I usually like to make a lot when I make this because I use the leftover making pancakes or making omelette with it. So I just make big batch and I have it in the fridge ready to go. So the smaller you cut this squash, the faster it will cook. So if you're rushing through this, cutting it small will help you go faster in this recipe. So basically I cut it 4 quarters and you don't have to peel it or anything. I'm gonna steam it and then I'm gonna scoop all the meat from it. So I'm gonna scoop all the seeds and I don't throw these seeds. It's really good for you. I took them out and roast them. Okay. So simply just scoop it like that. And this is ready to go. So what I do, I get my steamer going. So I add about 2 cups in here. I put my rack in there and I put the squash in here. And I'm gonna keep doing this. It won't be too high for my big pot. And you wanna make sure you like here, I'm gonna put it this way. So you're gonna make sure that your lid is completely covered, so steams and cook them properly. So like that. Just take this with my hands, get this out. Okay, so that's what I'm able to fit in there. I'm not gonna overcrowd it. I'm just gonna make sure it's completely covered. And I'm going to turn on my heat and I will leave this steaming and I'm gonna come and check on it after 20 minutes. So I'll see you in 20 minutes. So my Japanese squash has been steaming for 20 minutes and while that's happening, I'm also cooking my pasta. And I don't want you guys overcook it. Basically, I boil the water and I add a pinch of salt. So let me just check on my pasta. So let's check on the Japanese squash. It doesn't take that long to cook. So basically you want it to be a fork tender. So you see, that's good for me. So that's what you want. You want it fork tender. We'll keep this to cool down a bit. So I'm gonna turn off my heat and my pasta will be ready in a few minutes. I'm gonna drain it once it's ready. And while this cooling down a bit and waiting for the pasta to be finished, I'm gonna get started on the onion and the garlic because we're going to saute them. You don't want it too big, just small sizes because I'm not gonna puree this with with the squash. I like teeny tiny pieces of onion in there, but I don't want to be chunky. So my onion is ready. I'm also gonna slice my garlic, very small pieces. And I uncovered my squash just to cool down a bit. Alright, and this ready to go. So let me check on my pasta. Okay, so my pasta looks good. I'm gonna drain it. I'm gonna show you how to prepare the squash. Alright, so after cutting our onion and garlic, I'm gonna start sauteing them while I'm preparing the squash. So I just turn on my heat, medium low. I'll add 1.5 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil. I want the onion and garlic getting soft, but not too much color in it. And once it's a little bit translucent, I'm gonna add my garlic. So I'll leave this right here. So let's get started with this one. So basically I'm just taking the squash and scoop them. So take this, or just you can scoop it or just peel it. I don't want the skin because I don't want it yellow, and I want it to be silky smooth. But in many other recipes I eat the skin, but not for this one. So whatever easier, you can scoop it or just cut the skin like that. So I'm trying to remove any green because again I want the sauce to be very nice and yellow. So I'm gonna do the same here. Just gonna scoop this. It's much easier to do that when it's cooked. So then when it's raw, and try to peel it. Alright, so I cut it into half like this, and see, it's so easy to cut. Comes right off. I think that's gonna be good for me, and I'm gonna process it. Let's check on our onion real quick. So onion getting soft. So I'll keep this few more minutes, and then I'm gonna add my garlic. So into my food processor, I'm gonna add as much as your food processor take. I'm gonna add my squash. That's good for now. I'm gonna add some of the water to help it get processed. And I'm just gonna get started, and then I'm gonna add the nutritional yeast. Okay, I'm gonna add some of the nutritional yeast. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. I put 4 tablespoons of nutritional yeast. This stuff is so good. You can add it on anything. You just make it extra tasty. Right, I'll add more squash. That would depend on your food processor. If it's bigger, you just can add it all at once. Right, so after processing our sauce, that's what you want, creamy and silky. And all what I added here, just the squash and the nutritional yeast and the water. And I just added my garlic, and I'm gonna keep it for few seconds. I'm also gonna add the rest of our spices. Here, I'm gonna add 1 teaspoon of turmeric. That adds so much color and flavor too. I put a half teaspoon of my pepper. I'm just waking up this flavor, so you just want few seconds. And I'm also putting my paprika. Turmeric smells so good. So you are working on very low here. You can put some chili pepper. It doesn't show much, just give it a kick. But because my kid's eating this, I don't want any chances. I like to add cayenne pepper on my plate. Alright, so that's good. So now I'm gonna add my sauce. Here it goes. So do you see how creamy it is and thick? So you're gonna need more water. So I'm gonna show you, and how that's also depend how you like it. If you like it too thick, you can play with that ratio. I like it in between, not too thick and not too runny. So gently mix, and I already have my pasta cooked. So I'm gonna heat this up. Let me use this spoon. I haven't added any salt yet here. So let me add my salt. Salt, of course, to taste. It's always good to start with little and can add more. That's one teaspoon. So that's perfect, and that's our sauce, guys. If you like it completely smooth, you could have taken the garlic and onion mix that we sauteed earlier and braid it with in a food processor with the squash. So now I'm gonna grab my pasta, and I'm using here 500 grams. That's way full here, but works carefully. The best vegan mac and cheese. Once you try this, you're gonna be making it all the time. All right, so that's a perfect consistency for me. And as it sets, it gets a little bit thicker. So that's it, guys. So I used about 3.5 cups of squash and 2.5 cups of water. So now it's time to taste, to adjust any seasoning. Perfect. All right, so I'm gonna turn off my heat and let's go over here to try it. You can use this as is, a main dish, or you can also use it as a side dish. But for today, I'm gonna only use it as a main dish. All right. Let me try. Speechless. We didn't put any cheese in here, and it's so creamy from the squash, and it's so kind cheesy from the nutritional yeast. The turmeric is just the perfect seasoning for this. Besides, it's add a very nice vivid yellow color to it. All the ingredients we put here is very healthy and nutritious, and above all, super delicious. I hope you guys love this dish as much as my family does. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, please stay healthy and cook at home.